Also tonight, there is new evidence that nonprofits in this state, like Catholic charities, are struggling. The state comptroller out with a report this morning showing that New York had 173 fewer registered charities in 2022 than 5 years before that. In that same time period, you can see many other states added nonprofits, Pennsylvania and California, with thousands more. And over that 5-year period, job losses in the nonprofit sector were very significant here in Western New York. Look there, a 10% drop in employees in our region. I'll talk with the comptroller about this troubling trend in just a moment. First, though, his office is also sharing some good news tonight. You could soon walk to the mailbox and find a check inside. The comptroller is in charge of so-called unclaimed funds, money that gets turned into the state when the owner can't be found. Now, this can come from bank accounts, wages from an employer, an uncashed check, or a lot of other sources. You've always had to go online to this website, search to see if you're owed money, and then go through a long process to get the money back. Now, though, thanks to a change in state law, the comptroller can automatically send out the money as long as the funds are under $250. Now, some of that could come from gift cards. A lot of us likely got some of those over the holiday period. If you don't use them within a 5-year period, the balance is transferred into unclaimed funds. The state is sitting on $48 million in unused gift cards, with Western New Yorkers owed $4 million of that. Tom DiNapoli is the 54th and current comptroller of the state of New York, and he's joining us here tonight. Thanks for your time on a couple of big topics here, and I do want to start with that report that you put out today about nonprofits in the state, especially impactful here in Western New York. And, you know, not only do we have fewer nonprofits than we used to, but also fewer people working in that sector, right? Fewer jobs. What are the biggest takeaways here in your view?
I think the first takeaway is that the nonprofit sector is a very important part of the state's economy. 1 in 5 private sector jobs are in the non-for-profit area. But the pandemic had a very devastating impact on many of our nonprofits. You know, New York leads the nation in the number of nonprofits as a percentage of employment. But coming out of the pandemic, we are lagging the rest of the nation in terms of recovering those jobs. And actually, as you point out, Michael, for Western New York, you had one of the highest percentages of job loss in the not-for-profit sector. So this is a part of our economy that's still struggling.
In terms of recovering from this and trying to get those jobs back, you mentioned that a lot of the money comes from people and some of the donations have dried up, but also from governments. How do you think, looking at this big picture, we reverse this trend?
Well, it's an important question and a challenging one. I do think part of it is, again, coming out of COVID, people and all the issues of affordability, charitable donations certainly have been affected by that. On the government side, there has been some uncertainty in funding from every level of government. And one of the criticisms we've had in the Comptroller's office has been in our annual review of state contracts from agencies contracting with nonprofits. 56% of those contracts have been delayed in terms of being signed off on. If a nonprofit can't count on its funding stream, they can't hire people, they can't make commitments to provide services. I think what we need to do is remind everybody how important the nonprofits are, not only in terms of providing employment, as we point out in this report, but providing services. So many essential services are provided by non-for-profits. Government can't do it alone. Private sector doesn't do all the charitable work involved in this area. So we need to bolster this employment area, this sector of our economy, and there needs to be greater certainty in government support.
I also want to ask you about this change to unclaimed funds. It used to be that you had to go online, you had to search to see if you were owed money, and then you had to go through what can sometimes be a lengthy process proving that you're the person owed the cash. Tell me how this process is different now and how soon people could actually start just seeing checks in the mail.
Well, this is a very new change, but I do want to point out, Michael, that it doesn't take away the opportunity to still go online. Whatever your search engine is, put in New York State Comptroller, click on unclaimed funds, and see if there's any money that's owed to you. This is legislation that was signed by Governor Hochul that we had proposed, which would be for new accounts, right? So anything that's already in the system, you still got to go search online. But for new unclaimed funds that may be coming to us in 2025, as long as we could do the very clear verification verification for any account valued at $250 or less. So it's the smaller kinds of recoveries, which is more typical of what people get back in unclaimed funds. We will, instead of sending you a letter saying, we've got some of your money, come to our website or contact us, instead we will send a check. So, for some folks, if there's not complete information, that new system may not work for them. So that's why people should still look at our website on a regular basis. But your viewers should not be surprised if they get a letter from me saying, hey, we found $100 and here's a check to give this money to you. So this is brand new as of January 1st. So we're just getting that system online. So we really hope to have it up and running in the next few weeks.
Finally, before I run out of time, I mentioned gift cards make up a good chunk of the money that ends up in the unclaimed funds. A lot of people just got gift cards for the holidays. How important is it to, if you're not going to spend that money quickly, to make sure that you're getting it on the back end right through unclaimed funds?
Well, I mean, to the point of your question, Michael, spend that money quickly. Don't waste the gift cards. If it's a gift card from a major retailer, you should register it, and that's very important, because if for some reason you lose it or it becomes inactive, it expires, and it gets turned over to us. And last year we had about $21 million in unclaimed gift cards that came over to us. If it's registered, either with your name or with a number, we'll be able to track it back and return that to you. But the best advice, obviously, is use that gift card in a timely fashion. Read the fine print. Be aware of any expiration, but be aware after 5 years of dormancy, it's turned over to the state as an unclaimed fund.
Great insight. New York State Comptroller Tom DiNapoli, thanks so much for coming on, and Happy New Year to you.
Thank you, Michael. Happy New Year to you.